This is a quick preview of the nProve breeder and bureau functionality, specifically around how you can get access to your data. When you first log into nProve, one of the main areas that you'll see will be views. You can think of views as being pretty similar to the reports that you get today from SIL, except they're a lot more dynamic, as we're about to have a look at. In this example, I'm going to go find a selection list, and I'm going to use one of the templates that's already been created. These could be the system default templates, or it could be a template that's been created for you by your bureau. I'm going to use a use selection list. So now that that's opened up, on the left hand side here we can see that there's a criteria that's been set up where we only want to see live animals born last year that are female, and a selection of columns in here as well as a good starting point for a dual purpose use selection list. But I guess that's the point, is it is just a starting point. So I can, for example, if I don't want this column or any other column, I can go ahead and remove it. If there's other columns of information that I'd like to add myself, I can go ahead and click add column and then choose what I'd like to add. In this case, I'll go into indexes and I'll grab another dual purpose. Let's grab body condition score. And so you can see that column's now been added to the end. And the same is true for the criteria over here on the left as well. So if I wanted to narrow this down to maybe show only animals with New Zealand maternal worth above a certain number, I can go ahead and go add criteria, go into indexes, I'll pick New Zealand maternal worth. I've now got a slider I can move, but I know the value, so I'm just going to type it in. And so now we're going from 269 animals we had before down to the 49 that meet that updated threshold criteria. I can also add a sort, so if I wanted to sort on New Zealand maternal worth so that those top performing animals are at the top, I'll add a sort on New Zealand maternal worth. I'll make that descending, and I've got that sort now applied. Can also pull the data out, so if I wanted to work on that on my computer in Excel maybe, I can go ahead and export to Excel, and that's going to give me a file I can open, which is what I'll do now, but I could also obviously save that for historical reasons or work on it later. And the nice thing about getting an Excel file format is we're not going through those hassles with CSV files, dropping zeros from barcodes or turning air tags into dates and things like that. I can also save my view, so I could give that a name, save it, and then if I wanted to come back next week or next month and use this customized view, I could do that as well. So hopefully that gives you just a quick run through of how we want to set the system up so that you can come in, grab some of these templates that have been set up, these template views, but that you can still jump into them and customize them, turn them into something specific for you and save them for use later. So might switch gears now. I won't save this, and now have a look at creating a view from scratch, and we might move the level up a bit and start summarizing information about our flock. So I'm going to create a view by clicking add view, and I'm going to, instead of pulling an animal list like we were looking at before, I want to summarize this information at the flock level. Now I'm an administrator, so I need to tell the system what flock I'm working on, so I'll just do that now. And you can see, just for starters, it's saying, look, this is the flock you're working on, here's the total number of animals that are meeting your criteria. So you can see it's summarizing it at the flock level for us. But it gets interesting if we add some columns. So I'm going to go ahead and add some columns, and I'm going to bring in the animal birth year, and I'm going to bring in some index values sort of for a simple example. And the system's going to make some assumptions because it knows we're wanting to summarize this information up at the flock level. So you can see it's still giving us the flock number, the number of animals, but it's also breaking it down now by birth year. And it knows that because it's having to summarise it, that it can't show us all the New Zealand maternal worth values for all the animals. It has to aggregate or summarise them up somehow, and so you can see it's turning them into averages, and there's a note down the bottom advising us that that's happening as well. And then if I now, like we're looking at a genetics trends table here now, so I'm not just interested in the live animals, so I'm going to get rid of that criteria. And let's broaden that back and go back further in time. And so you'll see, now pretty quickly, in a similar way that we saw in the earlier example, we can do the same thing, but summarizing this information at a high level, but still with total control over what's being displayed. I can still save this as a view, so that I can quickly come in and get this information again in the future. Or export it out for use on my computer. Look, that pretty much wraps up. We just wanted to give you a real quick preview of the ground that's being made. Thanks again to all the breeders and bureaus that took part in the workshops. Your feedback was really valuable, and we're obviously hoping that you like what you see. But do please come back with any feedback. Our contact details are in the description below. Thanks again.